The Justin Robert Young program, brought to you as always by everybody who brings us this show. The support that we rely on, the support that we need, the support that keeps us going at payjurydaily.com. Inching ever closer to the 1,000 mark. Once we get to 1K, we begin to unlock regular episodes of Unpopular Opinion. Yes, folks, more interviews. Hopefully you like the one with Rebecca Watson yesterday, and you can suggest who you would like me to talk to, because I'm here to do it. Head on out over there, payjurydaily.com. If you want to sponsor at a certain level, you can get your name shouted out at the end of the show. But until you do that, well, just know that we also care about you. You can also support the show by making sure that you subscribe on Apple Podcast or iTunes. I know you might not be on that platform. You might hate Apple Podcasts. You might not own a Mac. You might not own an iTunes machine. Then do me a favor. Walk into a Mac store and just subscribe to the podcast on one of them their iPhones. Go ahead and do it. Help me help you. Anyway, payjurydaily.com. Enough of talking about how we support the show. What do you say we just do the damn thing? Gentlemen, welcome to the JuRY Daily program. Back with you live, another one mic show. I had a really good time with talking to Rebecca yesterday. I really enjoyed that episode. Hopefully you guys did too. We do have a letter about it in the mailbag today, but I do want to say I really like interviewing people. I think I'm fairly good at it. I think we always have a good time, and it's something that I really want to be doing more regularly, and hopefully you guys agree. If you don't, then that feedback is welcome too. JuRYDaily@gmail.com. If those are the episodes that you always skip, let me know. I would love to know more about how we can make this better. The idea here is that we could go 5 days a week. So we could go 4 days of regular this kind of content, one mic content, and then 1 day of an interview. But, I'll tell you what. It's up to you guys, whether or not you want it. If you want it, head on over there. payjurydaily.com. Since less time equals more time, man, imagine the time that I can save if I do this show 5 days a week. I'm in a mood. I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm not even going to pretend like I'm not, folks. I am in a mood today. You ever just been in one of them moods? One of those things where just nothing's going right? So a little preamble. And I'm now realizing, even as I begin this story, I am going to come off even more than I normally do as an unbearable Bay Area hipster piece of garbage. All right. So prepare. If you have any kind of expectation that I am not going to reveal myself indeed to be a hipster Bay Area piece of human garbage, then please recalibrate to understand that that is simply going to happen. So right before, I think, my last my election night live show for Politics, I decided to treat myself. I had made it through a very grueling October leading into November. I had written and sold out my second live show. So I wanted to treat myself a little bit. I wanted to treat myself by getting AirPods. These are these, shit, I don't even have them on me. They're these little, it comes in a little floss package. You open it up, and you put them in your ears, and plays the stuff that's coming off your iPhone. I'd previously had Beats X's that were similarly connected to the phone, but these are kind of the next level. So I'm like, you want to know what? Ashley loves hers. Everybody that I know loves theirs. I'm going to get them. So I got them. And you want to know what, folks? I loved them. I loved them. They stuck in my ears fine. It's great for me because I listen to podcasts almost constantly, or audiobooks. So you just take them out of your ear, they stop playing. Now, this isn't a commercial for AirPods, but I do need to set up here how much I enjoy them and how durable I believe that they are going to be in my life. So I take you to last Friday. Ashley and I are at the her company's holiday party. And boy, howdy, are we getting a little bit, as the kids say, dark lit. And then I get a text from a friend of mine, and she's like, oh, we're all hanging out at my apartment. Come on by. So we do. Ashley's a little sleepy, so she goes home, and I go and hang out with my friend. Having a good time. And eventually it comes to the end of the evening, and it's time for me to leave. So I call an Uber. Now, my friend lives in West Oakland. I live on the other side of downtown. It's, it would be a sizable walk, but we're not talking any longer than like 2 or 3 miles, probably. So I'm waiting for the Uber. It's late at night. It's got to be like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, oh, you want to know what? I'm not going to wait for the Uber because look what is to my right. Ah, yes. It's a Lime scooter. If you're not familiar with these Lime scooters, so just count all the things that, again, I'm letting you know that this is going to be very unbearably Bay Area hipster, okay? So it's like already we have the AirPods, we have I'm waiting for an Uber, and then I see a Lime scooter. These scooters they leave them out all over the street. You just scan them with your phone, and boom, you have a scooter rental. So I decide, oh, fuck the Uber. I'm gonna go scoot my way back home. Hop on the scooter, pop in my my AirPods, and I'm listening to a podcast as I make my way back to my apartment. Now, it's about a quarter of the way home when I get a phone call, which I am only now realizing I first see the phone call because it's buzzing my Apple Watch. Fuck me. I look on my Apple Watch and I see that somebody's calling. It's the Uber. I forgot to cancel it. And now I'm already there. I'm already halfway there. So I'm like, fuck, man, I'm sorry. And he's like, oh, fuck, are you kidding me? And I'm like, hanging up. Meep, meep, meep. But it's at that point that I realize that I have dropped one of my AirPods out of my head. And so I begin looking with all of the skill and careful attention to detail that you do when you've been drinking for 6 hours and it's 2 o'clock in the morning. In fact, I am so thorough in my search that it lasts probably about a minute and a half before I decide that I'm just going to buy new AirPods. So I lose one AirPod, and the other one still functions, by the way. It's fine. I can just use one, and I just say, fuck it, I'm leaving it, and I just leave. I decide, look, I am going to just buy this thing now. So I'm literally looking for it with my phone's flashlight. And then I'm like, fuck it. I gotta go. Amazon, AirPods, buy now. Whoop. Because, of course, I need them immediately. So I go home, and that's it, right? But then I realized the next day, I don't need fucking new AirPods. No, I don't need new AirPods. I really just need a replacement. This has to be something that Apple has foreseen, that someone's going to lose one of their AirPods, and that's going to be that. They need another one. So I go online with Apple in their little chat function, explain everything that's going on. They say, oh, don't worry. Here's a link. You can buy a replacement. Awesome. BioCow asks, wait, you didn't order them standing out in the street? Yes, of course I did. I was standing out in the middle of traffic. Granted, it's 2 o'clock in the morning and nobody's on the street, but I'm literally standing drunk in the middle of the street and decide that I'm going to order new AirPods. Anyway, all right. So now I'm chatting with Apple. They're like, okay, cool. We'll send you another one. And they get there pretty fast. They get there yesterday. Yesterday, I get my new AirPod, and I'm like, awesome. I open it up, and it's another right ear. I need a left ear. And I'm like, fuck. God damn it. Now I'm fucking pissed. I'm annoyed. I spent the money to get the thing. They sent it all the way from across the country, and now here I am with 2 fucking right ears. And there's no way that you can do it unless I fit it in fucking backwards. So then today I got to go down to the Apple store. I'm like, fuck it. I'll bet you the Apple store will just switch it out for me. So I go down there and I'm like, all right, hey, I need to get a new AirPod. Door's locked. Apple store doesn't open till 10. Fine. Oh my God. Fuck me. I'm just realizing what happens next. Fuck it. If we're going to go there, we're going to go all the way. I decide to go to a diner, and I'm perusing the menu. I'd already eaten breakfast, but I figured I could get a little bit of a snack. So I ordered avocado toast. I swear to God, I'm not kidding. I forgot about that part of this story until just now. Stop listening to me. I don't deserve. This is bad. I'm a bad. All right. Finally, I get into Apple, and they're like, oh, okay, here. You want to know what? We can totally take care of this. In fact, as an apology to you, we're just going to give you a left ear AirPod. You can keep the right one. We don't need the right one back. Fine. Cool. But it's just going to take a little bit. It's going to be like 50 minutes. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll go home. I'll take a shower. I'll come back. So I go home, and the water's off in my apartment. I live in a very old apartment. If they fix anybody's toilet, they have to shut the whole fucking water off. So now I'm just filthy. Oh, by the way, I look like a hobo at this point. I'm wearing sweatpants and a Pittsburgh Penguins t-shirt with a hole in it. I have this jacket, this old bomber jacket that I'd gotten in Milwaukee. I just look like an unmade bed. I finally roll in. I get my AirPod and I go home. But that's the story. That's the story. Oh, by the way, I drove to go get the AirPod in a gig car, which is a car that you can rent by the minute by using an app to do it. And then I decided to not rent another gig car to go back, so I got an Uber there and back. All right. Now, on a scale from 1 to you want to roundhouse kick my face, where are we? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being this is a very relatable story that I'm sure generations could understand, including my great-grandfather. That's 1. To 10 being, "You're the reason why the decline of America is happening." Where am I? Between 1 and 10. Email me, send me your tweets, reply on the YouTube down below. 1, the greatest generation would shake my hand solemnly and say, "Brother, we've all been there." 10 is I could earn myself 3 segments on Rush Limbaugh as an explanation of why the soy boy cuckization of the country is happening. All right. You can always email me, jurydaily@gmail.com. Again, jurydaily@gmail.com. BioCow writes, "I missed a few days, but I'm just catching up. I heard Will Harris demanding for a louder Will shout out than Will. If we can make demands like this, then I demand a quieter BioCow than the other BioCows. Wait, there's no other BioCows? So I guess I just demand a quieter shout than anyone else." I mean, you guys are supporting me at the highest level, so I will do my best to accommodate these special orders, although I am almost positive that they are going to get out of hand. Kate wrote in with this story that has kind of gone the rounds about an 11-year-old drag queen. This is from the Daily Wire. The headline being an 11-year-old boy dances at gay bars. If he were a girl, his parents would be arrested. This is from the conservative outfit, the Daily Wire. Kate asks, "Do you believe that this is freedom of expression, or is it child abuse?" I mean, I don't know. The idea that the kid was doing drag, I think that falls into freedom of expression. Your mileage may vary on whether or not he's doing it at a bar. That to me is where, if there's any wiggle room of, like, I mean, even legally, like, you know, kids that young really aren't allowed in bars. So I think it's less to do with the drag element. It's more to do with the fact that, like, that in general, we try to, we don't for a lot of things, a kid that young going into a bar, performing in a bar is something that, you know, people in general frown on. So that would more be my thing. Now, if you say, okay, well, he's into drag, there's not a lot of venues for that. Normally, gay bars are the places where that kind of stuff happens. Well, I get it. I understand it. But I don't know. The bar element is something that, like, if there is room, that I would look at the parents and be like, that's where I would do it. I would do it on the bar stuff. Richard says, "Your jury daily on the fairy tale of New York on the use of the word, on the F slur. You used your American sensibilities and assumed that it was slang for gay and not what it is more likely to be at the time of writing this song, a food item. The explanation is here on Wikipedia, which I will read to you right now." Oh, wait. It literally just... Oh, here we go. This is the, you want to know what? You're not going to trick me into saying it, but it is the FAGGOT definition with food, right? Apparently, these are meatballs made from minced offcuts of offal, especially pork, traditionally pig's heart, liver, and fatty belly meat or bacon, together with herbs and flavoring and sometimes added breadcrumbs. It is a traditional dish in the United Kingdom, especially South or Mid Wales or the English Midlands. They originated as a traditional cheap food consumed by ordinary people in Western England. Now, Oh, I would say. I mean, look, I think you could also say that it's a bundle of sticks, right? It's not like that word doesn't have multiple meanings. South Park did a whole episode about that, right? About how that word has kind of gone around. Well, here, let's continue with Richard. You shouldn't just assume that just because a work has one meaning in the U.S., that it has the same meaning in the rest of the world. After all, if that were the case, people would be playing on their wank Sega Mega Drives. Sega means wank in Italian, roughly. And also, what do you think of Oliver's Army by Elvis Costello as he uses the N-word in it? Thank you for everything that you do. Yeah, and I'm also aware that that's a slang term for a cigarette in the UK. In the phrase cheap, lousy, I don't know. I would actually hear Irish folks. We have to have some native Irish listeners. In the late 80s vernacular, if I called you a cheap, lousy F-slur, does it really mean a cheap, lousy meatball? Maybe. Maybe it means a cheap, lousy meatball. I think in the phrasing of, I don't know whether or not that's a phrase. I don't know whether that's shorthand or anything. I do know in general that people calling each other those names that are drunk in bars, at least in America, it means a certain thing. So yeah, maybe I am. Maybe I am being oversensitive. I am using my puritanical American values to pervert a reference to a meatball. Richard, it's quite possible. But please, write in. I need my Irish folks. I need them Irish. Come on in. JuRYDaily@gmail.com. Meanwhile, John in Connecticut writes, the Santa is or is not real argument forgets a third option, that Santa is a story. He's Christmas Mickey Mouse. No one gets in knots about the existence of Mickey, and no deception is needed. Like Mickey, we have Santa decorations, watch the movies, visit, and get the pictures. I don't try to control my extended family in any situation that gets anybody mad, but I won't put Santa on any gifts. I'm not going to let a magical reverse robber take credit for my hard work. Look, I like to think of Santa as a fun thing. It's a fun little game that you play. It's kind of a soft signifier as a welcome into the welcome to the adult world, kid. Once you figure out, it's like, all right, cool. Well, look, we're all playing Got Your Nose with the kids. So now you know that the thumb between my curled fingers is not indeed your nose. Now you can do that for everybody. But just come on. Be a part of the team. And finally, Stuart writes, I'd really like to hear your thoughts on Lacey Green. You laughed at Vox calling her alt-right, but it sounds like she's calling herself that now, taking the red pill and dating a Gamergator. Lacey's a friend, and I know for a fact she's not alt-right, unless something has changed. I watched the video that you're talking about, where she teased the idea of, basically, she said, is talking to people that you don't fully agree with taking the red pill. And ultimately, the video says no, and I agree with her. I think that Lacey has a lot of very specific opinions, and to be totally honest, based on following her work, even if I didn't know her, I don't think she's really changed those opinions. She is dating somebody that she doesn't agree with everything on with. And guess what? That might be radical for this day and age when it comes to being a public figure, specifically one that has outward cultural and political opinions. But for the rest of us, that's not that shocking. Ashley doesn't agree with me on everything. I don't agree with Ashley on everything. I don't agree with Lacey on everything. I'm sure Lacey doesn't agree with everything that her boyfriend thinks. Now, is there a line for which you're like, okay, well, if you believe this, then that's totally awful? Sure. Yeah. But we can all make those decisions in gradients. It's not all, binary. So, for those of you who don't know, I hate everyone, so shut up, says, I have no idea what the term red pilling means as far as politics. Basically the idea of red pilling is that in the concept of the Matrix, right, with Morpheus, that you can either take the blue pill and continue to live in soft ignorance, or you can take the red pill and you can be revealed the truth, right? The truth that's sitting in front of your face. I think it's a bit of a weird construct for an argument. I think that there's a lot of stuff that we just put up these rhetorical walls on, and we do a lot to distort the world around us because I don't know why. It's just the way we are these days. And that's fine. I think there's a lot of introspection and critical thinking that does need to go on. But man, like it's funny for me because I remember I once mentioned Lacey on the show, and I don't even know if it was about something she did. It might have just even been telling a story about hanging out or something, right? And I had somebody just light up my @replies about how Lacey Green is a racist and a misandrist and this, that, and the other. And referred to some tweet she made during the election. And I was like, okay, man, like, I ain't her lawyer. I'm her friend. It's fine. Like it's just, if you have these opinions, you have these opinions. Via con Dios. If you want to ask me my opinion, I can tell you my opinion, but, maybe, I don't know if that you really want. You seem more interested in telling me your opinions, for which I say, cool. Those are opinions, man. Cool. But I don't think that that's what she is calling herself. And I don't know her boyfriend. She moved down to L.A. and met Chris, I believe his name is. And I don't know. To be totally honest, I'm not plugged into it enough to know it. All I do know is that she ain't alt-right. That's 150%. 90% of what she does, I don't know why I'm doing all percentages, is sex ed. And it's it's good explainers for kids that may or may not be able to know it. People learn shit on YouTube these days. She does a good job of explaining sex ed. She put a book out. Everybody needs to rush to this. Everybody needs to rush to these character judgments, man. It's wild. It is wild. I don't know. I'm sure people would luckily I'm in a very good spot right now. I can make a living with what I do. I, by and large, only talk to people that I like or that like me. Not a lot of people that come in and try to light shit on fire for me. And that's cool. But, yeah, I can live an unbearable, insufferable hipster lifestyle. That's rad. But, nobody really comes after me. That's good. Man, thank you guys. I'm just having a moment of gratitude for you folks. You folks have fucking made it really good. You guys are great. I love you. Oh, I was called a Zionist cuck last week. That's fine. Y'all can call me Zionist cuck. That's cool. We're all just having a good time here. I think it was a Zionist shill too. I guess the Goy Defense League didn't stay around to guess my race. That's disappointing. Ladies and gentlemen, you can always email us, jurydaily@gmail.com, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, @JustinRYoung. Join our Discord, bit.ly/JuryDiscord. Big shout out to our producers today. The Jen, PD Rave, Non-Specific, Rock and Roll, Martian, Joe Acosta, whoa! Redneck Tech James, the OG Brito, whoa! And Matthew B. Folks, that about wraps it up for us today. If you remember one thing from this, remember to please give a round of applause to Mr. Wacky. But more than that, please don't. Don't!
you think you have had enough?
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.